All right, here we go. We always start with a fun fact. As the calendar enters this latter half of November, the state of North Carolina does still have 4 teams that remain firmly in the running for a conference championship. We mentioned Duke in the ACC. We mentioned East Carolina in the American Conference. There are also the pair of Division II squads that are actually playing in their respective conference title games this Saturday. Johnson C. Smith in the CIAA, UNCPembroke in Conference Carolinas. Each of those latter 2 games this weekend also comes with an automatic bid to the Division II playoffs. So that'll give us more teams and more big headlines to discuss when the calendar turns to December, perhaps. The other 28 NCAA football teams in our state either have been mathematically eliminated from their conference title picture or would require a truly extraordinary combination of events to end up with their league's championship crown this season. There's 1 or 2 that have a chance to tie, but we'll leave that for future weeks. As a quick reminder of the rarefied air that we are exploring with this week's fun fact, keep in mind that only one of the Bold North State's 32 NCAA football programs brought home a conference championship last year. It was at the D2 level. Head coach Rashawn Jordan led Wingate to the South Atlantic Conference Championship in his first season leading that program after many years as the Bulldogs defensive coordinator. Wingate actually has had another very good season this year at 8-2 heading into the Bulldogs regular season finale this weekend. So an at-large bid to the Division II playoffs remains a good possibility for those Dogs, but they were unable to repeat as South Atlantic champs. One more sobering reminder on this topic is that this year's in-state contenders, again, Duke, ECU, J.C. Smith, UNCPembroke, do not exactly have history on their side. The Blue Devils' most recent ACC title, mentioned earlier, 1989, under the legendary coach Steve Spurrier. The Pirates' most recent titles, mentioned in that game preview, Skip Holtz back in 2008 and 2009. They were still members of that lower-profile league, Conference USA. J.C. Smith has been competing in the CIAA for 100 consecutive years, but has only 1 football championship as a member of that league back in 1969. Finally, UNCPembroke has never won a conference championship in football in any league, although it should be noted that the Braves have competed as an independent for a large majority of the seasons they've played since they restarted their gridiron program back in 2007. All of that said, here's the bottom line for all 4 of our state's remaining contenders. Your game this Saturday is a must-win scenario in every sense of that phrase. If Duke loses to UVA, the Blue Devils are out of the ACC race. If the Pirates lose to Memphis, their hopes for a trip to the American Conference title game will be extinguished. The other 2 contenders, Johnson C. Smith and UNCPembroke, have a chance to actually raise a championship trophy this Saturday. So best wishes to the 4th-year coach Maurice Flowers and his Golden Bulls, as well as the 3rd-year UNCP coach Mark Hall and his Braves as they try to make some history this weekend. The 9-1 Golden Bulls, who are making their first CIAA title game appearance since 1972, will be the underdog against 9-1 Virginia Union on Saturday afternoon at Durham County Stadium. 3 o'clock kickoff. HBCU Go has the streaming rights. The Panthers won the league championship in both 2023 and 2024, and they did go a perfect 8-0 in conference play during the regular season. When Johnson C. Smith and Virginia Union met during the regular season back in late September, the Panthers posted a 28-10 victory on their home field up in Richmond. This rematch will be played at a neutral site in Durham, which is about a 150-mile trip for each team. If you head to Durham County Stadium for this one, or you catch it on the HBCU Go stream, the Golden Bulls to watch include quarterback Kelvin Durham, running back Bobby Smith, wide receivers Brian Lane and DeAndre Proctor, return man Isaiah Perry, and linebacker Vincent Hill. Last but not least, 8-2 UNCPembroke will be playing a true road game when the Braves visit 6-4 North Greenville in the Conference Carolinas Bowl. This is a rematch of an October 18th contest when the Trailblazers handed UNCP its only loss of the season in conference play. The final score in that one was 20-7, and the North Greenville defense absolutely dominated that day. posting 5 sacks, creating 4 turnovers, and holding the Braves to just 306 yards of total offense. UNCPembroke's top players include dual-threat quarterback Trey Robinson, running back Joel Felder, wide receivers Jaquan Albright, Malik Brown, and Q Kennedy, linebacker Jaden Baptist, and defensive back Donovan Woods.
Excuse me. I love sports, but sometimes, like when a t-shirt cannon hits me square in the nachos, I wonder, is Sport Clips better than sports?
Because sports plus a hot steamed towel
beats sports plus hot exploding cheese.
I like your shirt.
Thanks. It was free.
Sport Clips. It's a game changer.
Moving on to this week's one and only shout-out. So far this season, our in-state shout-outs have honored a wide variety of coaches and players from, among other programs, App State, Duke, ECU, NC Central, NC State, Wake Forest, Western Carolina, and more. Our out-of-state shout-outs have celebrated a bunch of others we know, guys who have also been our guests on the David Glenn Show. Jeff Brom in Louisville, Kurt Signetti in Indiana, Mario Cristobal in Miami, Mike Elko in Texas A&M, Tony Elliott in Virginia, Scott Satterfield in Cincinnati, and that list goes on. We'll limit this week's shout-outs to one program that has not been in many positive headlines this season. Shout-out to UNC head coach Bill Belichick and defensive coordinator Steve Belichick, Bill's son, who have helped resurrect the Tar Heels season by getting the team's defense to play at a lofty level on that side of the ball that hasn't been seen in Chapel Hill since the latter years of the Butch Davis era about 15 years ago. Coming out of an important October stretch in which Carolina had 2 open weeks in a 3-week period, meaning maximum practice time with only 1 game in that mix, the Tar Heels defense has put together 4 consecutive outstanding efforts against Cal, Virginia, Syracuse, and Stanford. In those 16 quarters of regulation football, the Carolina defense held its opponents to just 12 offensive points per game. In their past 3 games combined, including one against a UVA squad that had been averaging an ACC best 40 points per game, the Heels yielded only 3 total touchdowns in regulation play over those 12 quarters. Led by junior edge rusher Melkart Abuzz, a Delaware transfer, sophomore linebacker Kamori House, a Washington transfer, senior linebacker Andrew Simpson, a Boise State transfer, and junior nickelback Caleb Kost, a holdover from the Mac Brown era. UNC's defense is allowing only 4.77 yards per play for the season, which actually ranks 20th among the 136 FBS programs. Nobody would have guessed that a month or so ago. Among the younger UNC defenders who have improved significantly during the course of the season are sophomore edge rusher Tyler Thompson, sophomore cornerback Jaden Patterson, and redshirt freshman safety Greg Smith. The Tar Heels also are now up to 5th in the ACC in both scoring defense, 21 points per game, and total defense, 321 yards per game. It will be fascinating to see how UNC's defense will fare later this season in those rivalry games against 2 of the ACC's best passers, Darian Mensah of Duke, C.J. Bailey of NC State. But in the meantime, Carolina football fans finally have a story worth celebrating. I am David Glenn, and those are my fun facts and shout-outs as we head into college football's Week 12 right here on the North Carolina Sports Network.
This has been Bold North State Football Daily, an exclusive presentation of the North Carolina Sports Network. Make sure you follow us on social media at the NC Sportsnet, and check out our website that is wall-to-wall coverage of North Carolina sports at ncsportsnetwork.com. Our foundational partner is the North Carolina Pork Council, raising the bacon, raising the bar. Telling the stories of the bold North State, this is the North Carolina Sports Network.